Hello.
Hello, Jeremy.
I called Rupert Lowe, the Reform MP Rupert Bell, a minute ago, which is very embarrassing. I didn't see you at Cheltenham. Did you win?
Did I win? Like most people, not a lot. Although I tipped the odd winner or two, I fortunately, like a mug that I am, didn't back them. I tipped a 16-1 winner. But there you go. It was still a great week. And now I've come back to the madness that is Meghan and Harry and all the other stuff that they've been doing, whether it be podcast, you name it, launching shopping lines. And now Harry finding himself in hot water with what was supposed to be his lifetime's work with the Sentebale charity. And you
just explain this briefly to people. He set this up in honour of his mother with the Prince in Lesotho, is that right? And this was all about doing... What was the basis of the charity? And briefly, we haven't got long, what's blown up today? Because he's resigned from his own charity.
Yeah, because he doesn't like... Well, the chairman, who they put in, this very blight Zimbabwean-born lawyer, comes in as chairman. She then decides to move the charity to Africa, where it's designed to raise money and help people in Lesotho and other and help people, children, and bring money in from Africa. But Harry and the trustees didn't like this, and there's some really... You know, she's really thrown the kitchen sink at the trustees, including Harry, and saying they're sort of trial by press and everything, and that she is a very much decorated a lawyer, has worked for many an international company. You talk about she's done the hard yards, come from, you know, Zimbabwe, but has worked in London to great effect, worked for Virgin Money, worked in America, set up
hasn't she actually said that Harry and his charity are there's examples of misogyny, sexism, racism? This is the man who's married to Meghan Markle. I mean, honestly, who writes this stuff?
Well, look, there are always two sides to every argument here, and you know there's been a lot going on. But clearly she is fighting really with going with all guns blazing to basically throw it down to these trustees. Remember, they appointed her.
Yeah.
And now suddenly they're finding we wanted to get rid of her. She said no, and that basically is why the trustees have all gone away. Now, Harry is now he wanted probably to raise money using polo and various things, but she's saying we need to be looking at what we can do on home soil and to try and make sure that it really does feel like an African charity. Yes, it was set up very much with his mother in mind by Harry, and it seemed to be something that was incredibly important to him. But it seems to have unraveled, and I have to say, this sort of seems to go with the territory a little bit. You know, it's not all plain sailing within the Invictus Games camp. So things that he's been involved with, you know, he has ruffled feathers. And I don't know the full details of this breakdown, but clearly it's very unsatisfactory. And for Harry, you know, it's now going to be extremely hard for this charity probably to raise as much money as he wants, because he did bring a cachet to it. But the chairman, this bright African-born woman, felt the best thing to do was to bring it back to focus, have it based in Africa, you know, because almost feeling that she didn't want the trustees using it as their sort of private vehicle to raise money.
It's extraordinary. I wish we had more time, but there's that, and it just seems to follow these two idiots around. Meghan Markle, who's convinced that all that she's doing with her bloody useless podcast and flogging stuff online is going to make her a billionaire. She's courted controversy in the last 72 hours. Her £712, ladies and gentlemen, ethical handbag flogged in her online shop. That's £712. Everybody's done a bit of digging, and it's being made by Rwandan women who are on 10p an hour. You know, these sanctimonious couple who go on about the rights and wrongs. Isn't it interesting? Rwandan women making her ethical handbag for £10 an hour. She's selling it for 700 quid and wants to make $1 billion. And he sets out this stall about... honestly, whoever writes this story, these two are so wrong, aren't they, mate, in so many different ways.
Well, yes, and she wants to make, say, a billionaire through her ShopMy vehicle, commissioning, basically doing nothing. just lending her name and being an influencer. And then she's just basically, he says, I'll be in my counting house, assuming people will go and buy this particular product, whatever the various bits of product, you know, and it's all pretty bland, I have to say, but it is wrong. You know, I've been to Rwanda and I've seen these women, you know, where they live, and they need all the help they can get in some areas. And it's some of the most heartbreaking things that I've witnessed in my life, going around Rwanda and seeing in the villages, and these hard-working women. They are hard-working people, the Rwandans.
I thought Meghan Markle was a feminist. I thought she cared about women. Oh no, she wants to be a billionaire. Listen, you're a legend. Next week, I want some grand national conversations to be had on the show. We really appreciate it. Belly, I've got to go. Thank you so much indeed. 10